What's happening, financial coaches? Peter here. I want to talk to you today about something that I hate that we use a lot in training and financial coaching, and I've done it a lot myself, and they're uncomfortable, and that is role playing. And when I first started, some of the financial coaching we did was just over the phone. We didn't have the kind of the robust video conferencing capabilities at the time, or that we do now. But initially, some of those would be on the phone. Many of those were in person. And one of the things that we did a lot is role playing in training. And that would be, say, a trainer pretending they're a client and asking you to kind of coach them. Now, I will tell you, if you've ever done this or are planning to do it, or if you're in training or you're taking a certification and they're doing it, it's not that they don't add value, because there is some value in kind of simulating the environment. But they are a little bit nerve-wracking, I think. That's one of the things, personally, I hated doing it, because even when I was experienced, or maybe even the most experienced person in the room and going into a role play, it's kind of nerve-wracking to think, oh my gosh, what if I do hit an impasse, or what if I just zone out and get tunnel vision, and I can't think of something good, and I can't wow people, and there's all sorts of reasons you might be a little bit stressed about it. But the big problem with the role-playing, to me, is that usually the role-playing people are making up a situation, especially if I'm the trainer and we have a number of trainee coaches, and I want to role-play with Joe, and then I want to role-play with Rodney, and then I role-play with Lauren, and then Jody, or whatever. What I have to do is usually come up with a unique scenario for each of them. And that's because if it's the same role and the same job and the same financial pressure, everyone can just kind of learn and build on the previous person. So I have seen, and not just me, but I've seen people act like they are shrimp boat captains, to just being saddled with debt, to getting divorced, or being a single parent, or newly married, or whatever, or someone going into retirement. And the problem with that is it sounds like it's good and it sounds like it's fun, and the people who are usually training on these are usually not over volunteering information, because they are trying to get you to use techniques to pull out information. So they're much more awkward than real life coaching situations. So if I were saying like, "Hey, I'm a shrimp boat captain." Okay, well, Mr. Shrimp Boat Captain, what's your main financial problem these days? Well, it's business is slow. Okay. Why is business? So, you get this kind of weird delivery of information and then kind of probe for more information, where in reality, what's more likely to happen is a financial coach might just open the conversation. What I like to do is just say, like, what inspired the connection today? Things like that. What brought about this meeting today? Or, what is the most important thing that I can help you with? Or, how can I support you today? Any of these kind of very open, vague questions that people can interpret themselves will usually open the floodgates to just a lot of information. In fact, it can be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes of just kind of a release of information, which is all going to be very helpful. So I take some notes, right? But usually it's that simple, and it's much more simple in real life than it is with a role play. Now, I would say that when I am the trainer on a role play and I'm acting like I'm the client, what I usually will do is I will, in my mind beforehand, if you want to make role-playing more valuable, more realistic, think about something in my own financial life that is most important. So in previous role plays, I have talked about my real estate or my investment properties. I have talked about buying a car or going on vacation. I've kind of picked out something, and then I have usually been a little creative in expanding that out, and sometimes maybe taking something that is just maybe a feel and turn it into a problem. Sometimes exaggerating the numbers here to kind of make it more significant. But what I've always tried to do is pick something that's real in my life, and even if it's a small thing, turn it into the focus of what I'm talking about, so I can actually really talk about it. And I actually recall I had a real estate investment property, a condo, that I was renting out, and I was kind of debating whether I should sell it or if I should continue to rent it. You're thinking about things like, as I build equity over time versus where the market's at and where interest rates are, and and the effects of how that works on your taxes. And it wasn't a huge problem for me. It kind of didn't really matter to me if I kept it or if I sold it. But what I used is that is kind of a more of inspiration to kind of create the stress in the role play that I think the participant really dug into, or the financial coaching trainee really dug into, and actually was helpful in me kind of thinking through some of these things. Now, like I said, I overdid it a bit because I needed to take something that wasn't really a problem, but use that as the inspiration for an actual case. So when you are role playing, my suggestion to you, if you really want to make it useful, is pick something, and maybe you do have something vulnerable, maybe you do have something weighing on you, and that's going to make it even easier to actually make it a more realistic role play. But if you don't, kind of think maybe of a few things in your life that are worrisome or aren't perfect or whatever it is, and then use those to just kind of be the seed for blowing out an individual role play, and try to leave some of those other things out so that if you have other trainees, you have some other kind of issues that you can bring forward to those, because I think those are going to be far more valuable. They're going to feel more realistic, and they're going to be more helpful in getting the trainees into a position of starting to be comfortable in their role, and and more confident when they go out into that real world. But if you have the opportunity for them to observe or even participate, kind of take a second chair role in a financial coaching role in a real coaching session, I think those are the most important and most valuable to me. Those were the most immersive, and because they're real world scenarios, you get to see real anguish on people's faces, real joy and elation, actual progress, and all of that comes with the financial coaching experience. So, one, I hate the role plays. If you're gonna do fake-ish role plays, I would probably just eliminate them completely. If you're going to do role plays, make them as meaningful, as powerful, and as effective as possible by trying to pick something that's a real issue. And if you can remove the role plays and actually put people into a position where they're observing real, true coaching sessions, I think that's the best way to go about it. So hopefully that helps. Just some of my thoughts on role playing while you are training. Keep going out there, pounding the pavement, and change lives, including your own. See you later.